This video is brought to you by eToro. Now, you may have seen that eToro sponsor a number of Premier League clubs. Now, if you don't have time to invest, you can use eToro's CopyTrader feature, copy top performing investors, so when they make a trade, you make the same trade automatically at no additional cost. Then click the link in the description and get on it right now. AFTV DT, you calm down now.
I'm all right.
How's your phone? Where's your phone? Your phone all right?
My phone's fine, man. I've showed you
sure?
it. There's nothing wrong with it, man. Look, there's nothing. It's good screen protector. Look, nothing wrong with it. Do you know what I mean?
Man, listen, it's all passion. I know things boil over, people get really angry in that. You got really angry at the end there. But I have to ask you again. I'm sorry, I do have to ask that question because it's a question that every fan out there is asking each other right now. Do we have to change the manager now? Do we have to seriously start thinking this job is too big for him? And I know there was a lot more fight from the players in that second half. You know, you're 2-1 down, they're a good side, Everton, they're second in the league now. But do we need to change, or do you still feel that keep faith in him, give him some money in January, and give him a chance to turn it around?
What I'd like to say is that I would like him to be given the opportunity in January, but after some of what I saw today, there comes a point where you think, is it going to change? Is it going to work? And where I can't back the manager is Willian staying on the pitch, for example. Okay, I get why he would have started the game, given the fact that Oba was out, and then, you know, there's certain reasons as to why he may have done it. But to keep him on, I wouldn't have even kept him on past half-time, given that first half performance. You look at the first goal, and one of the things that Mikel's made very clear is work rate from the players. The way that, you know, it's a non-negotiable. You cannot stroll around the pitch. You have to fight. The way Willian just strolled across did not look like anybody that gave any ounce of shit for this club in any way, shape or form. Now, people can sit there and, you know, laugh about me at the stream or throwing my phone or whatever it is. If Willian showed half of the passion that I had, he would have stopped that cross. Because he just doesn't care. And this is the thing.
You're thinking to yourself, Calvert-Lewin's in there. What's he been doing all season? He's a guy, he gets on the end of things.
Yeah.
Stop crosses
Stop
from
the
coming
crosses.
in.
And he doesn't.
It was unforgivable, like you said, the way he just strolls across to Iwobi, you know what I mean? And just gives him all the time in the world to put a cross in.
All the time in the world. And then, you know, the second decision that you can't, you know, excuse or, you know, just mask over is the fact that Eddie Nketiah started ahead of Lacazette. And, you know, you're in a bad situation right now. We're in a bad situation. And despite his lack of goals or whatever, what you do get with Lacazette is the experience. And, you know, somebody that will fight. And I do believe that he does fight. And with Eddie, all I see is a lad that couldn't even make it in a championship side last season. And I'm not being nasty or rude about it, but...
He had that one big chance in the first half, didn't he?
Well, he had two chances.
Fell to him.
Two chances in the
There was
first half.
one, though, in
One real
particular.
big chance. And
Big
take a touch.
chance.
Take a touch.
Nobody's around you. You got
Look,
time.
When you're Son or Kane or Mane or Salah or one of these top elite, you know, forwards that are banging form and confidence, you take that first time. Because 9 times out of 10, that would be in the top corner. But when you're not in form, not scoring goals, playing for a team that's really struggling, you take your time. You know, and it only emphasised your point before the game, which is Aubameyang missing. If you need a chance to fall to someone, you'd want it to be him. Because I guarantee he would have took a touch to it and then bent it around the keeper. And there's the difference. So I'm at that point where I'm looking and I'm going, he's not making it easy for himself. He's, you know, making a rod for his own back, shall we say. And there's a lot of people that are to blame. And it ain't just Mikel.
What about the point, right? Kelechi was making a point to me. He's saying that he feels that maybe he's keeping faith in some of those sort of name players like a Willian and that, because those are the players that could get him out because of their links with Kia Jarapchin and Edu and stuff like that. If he loses those players, then he really is trouble because he's got the young players on side. But if he loses some of those senior players, like your Willians and David Luiz's, that's when he really is in big trouble.
We're in big trouble anyway, Robbie, and that's the harsh reality at the end of the day, whether anyone likes it or not. And I'm not deluded enough to not realise that and understand it. And I'm old enough to have remembered some real bad times. You know, and I wouldn't say lucky enough, but I'm unfortunate enough to know the whole story of Terry Neal and how the fans got him out, because my dad was a part of it. You know, so you probably wonder where I get it from.
The banners has been running in the family
You know
for
what I
a
mean?
long time.
So, but everyone will know about the fans going down to the town hall when the club were holding their meeting and everything else. But it's, like I was saying with Mikel, he's not the only person to blame. And if you're going to blame him, then you've got to blame Edu as well, because he's just as culpable. He's just as, you know, maybe Wenger was right in a sense of why he didn't let these people in the door, like these agents and stuff. Because he had a big thing against that. So maybe in that respect, Arsene was right for that. But everything about this club is finally starting to come out as to what's really bad. And, you know, we have patches towards the end of Arsene Wenger where you would have good moments, get to a final, win the odd FA Cup, and it would kind of just get you along, and you would never really get into the root of all the problems. And then it went to Unai Emery, we had a fantastic start, and it went downhill, and then it was same kind of scenario. You never really get to the root of the problem. Mikel comes in, gets a really good start, wins a cup, and now we're seeing the same problems again. And the root is still there. There's still no, you know...
We've lost every game in December. The last game we won was against Man United. That was at the start of, I think, October. November. We've now lost 8 games in the Premier League out of 14, drawn 2, won 4. I mean, even winning games look like a distant memory, you know what I mean? And
it's not good
Chelsea
enough,
next in the league, then Brighton.
Robbie, do you know the scary thing?
And when I was looking at the relegation zone, we're not, you know what I mean? If Fulham...
It's a harsh reality. It's a harsh reality. Look, this is the facts. And what I don't understand at the moment, or what I can't get my head around, is that even teams at the bottom, apart from Sheffield United, who have just been absolutely dreadful this season, teams still put the odd performance in. They get the odd point. West Brom went to Man City and got a point.
Fulham drew with Liverpool last week.
We don't look like we're picking up points anywhere at all. And that's the scary thing for me now. We're not even scraping the odd points here, there, and yes, a great second half performance in terms of the way we came out and everything, but how much of that was down to Everton allowing us to do that? You know, them sitting back and going, well, we got the 2 goals, we were ahead of you, so go and break us down, go on then. You ain't been able to break many teams down all season.
What they did against Chelsea the other day.
Yeah, and, you know, I thought our best player on the pitch was Maitland-Niles. To be honest, and he kept Richarlison quiet all game, and I think that only strengthens the point that Hector Bellerin can't get back into this team. But then, Robbie, man, I'm hurting, man. I'm hurting. It's hard to see it, and it's, you know, at the end of the day, right, people got to understand something here. You put yourself on the line when you do fan cams and stuff like this, and I don't take that away, and I don't take that lightly in the sense that I know I put my face on the line. You live by your decisions. I get some right, I get some wrong. And, you know, it all started with the Wenger thing. And I put my neck on the line with Wenger and to say it was the right thing to do. And you saw some of the abuse that we got and, you know, things that happened at games. And, you know, you could have one person shake your hand for a banner and you could have another person try and spit in your face. Do you know what I mean? And then I backed Unai Emery all the way, even after Baku and that. We were still backing him and saying next season. And then eventually you've got to hold your hands up. And we're getting to that point now where I can't defend him much longer. And I do want him to get to January, and I do want him to try and rip this team apart and get out all of the rotten core and the disease that's been, you know, riddled in this club for so long.
But are you sure, even if he does that he's the right guy?
Well, because this is one of the things that's concerning me, because I'm looking at some of the people that have came through the door because of Mikel and because of Edu. Maybe they've just made the disease worse. They've made the disease spread. So when you get people like Kia Jarapkin in, and you've got Louise and Willian, have they just added to the disease and made it spread faster? Do you know what I mean? And that is the big issue that I have now. And I'm still adamant in what I say, that if you bring a new manager in, you have a bounce or whatever it might be. You might not even have a bounce. Freddie came in. Freddie was a legend of this club and invincible. And, you know, fans were singing his name when we went away to Norwich and places like that when he first took over. And he couldn't get a bounce, you know. So how long do you keep running this cycle of managers, but yet the rotten core remains? Until you get rid of the root of the disease, you will never be able to build around that. So one of the biggest roots of the disease is the man that's always been there from the beginning of, well, from the Emirates reign, shall we say, and that's Stan Kroenke, you know. But at the same time, we've also got to put into perspective that he has spent some money. Yes, he has. Could he spend more? Yes, he should. But it feels a little too late, and he's let the wrong people take over this club. And that's his biggest issue, because he doesn't do anything. I don't reckon he even knows that we played today. So is he really an owner? He's obviously left it all to Josh. And then Josh comes out, puts his neck on the line, you know, be excited. And to be fair, we were excited after that because we bought Pepe. But it hasn't worked out. Not to how we thought it would work out. You know, we bring in Thomas Partey and we're all happy. But it always feels that we're 2 free signings away. We do something to appease everyone and forget, and that's all our faults. That's all our faults. That's my fault, that's your fault, that's everyone who gets excited by one signing, because you get clouded and forget the bigger picture, which is that Thomas Partey was never going to be enough for this team. We knew that. But when you get it, because we've been so deprived of it for so long, you get clouded by that, and you're like, oh, got Partey, we're going to take on the world. And reality is, it comes back and bites you quick. And right now, it just feels like a whirlpool.
So what would you do if you was in charge now? What do you do? Do you give him? Do you say, I'm going to give you the next 2 games, win those 2 games, get us to January, and we'll give you the money? Or what do you do? What would you do right now?
In all honesty, you've got 2 more games. You've got a week and a half until the end of the year. Would changing a manager now make such a difference in those 2 games? I'm not too sure. So do you give them 2 games? And this is the thing, giving them, say you've got to win them both, and then we go to January and we rip out what we need to. And at the end of the day, obviously we don't know the legal ramifications of it, but I don't understand why half of these players haven't had their contracts ripped up. Because they're not playing, they're not involved. Like Mesut Ozil, for example, you're still paying him X amount of wages per week to do nothing. So would it not just be easier to rip it up and say, right, go, move? If you're part of the disease or the problem, then let's get you out now. Let's rip, like what we did with Henrik Mkhitaryan. We said, cut ties, not going to get any money back, off you go. So is there something contractually in place where we can't do that? Because I don't understand it. Can we afford to spend whatever we spent on Saliba for him to be paying in the under-23s? Do you know last night, in the under-23s, we had a more expensive backline than the one we started today in the Premier League?
It's crazy, isn't it?
Like, how does that work out? We've got a backline in our under-23s, and I don't know the exact figures, but costs more than the backline that's starting in the Premier League. Miss. You know, and the thing is, Rob Holding, again, we talk about that situation. I understood why the captain. Now, that says alone, maybe there's something in the David Luiz thing. Because why have you not give him the captaincy? And everyone talks about Rob Holding against Southampton. He was excellent in the air, he's superb. But today you come up against someone of a different level in the air, and you got exposed. I can't remember him winning a header. He was absolutely dreadful. Can't really blame him for the own goal. Those things happen. It's whacked him, whatever it was. But he could have been tighter at the time anyway. But that's half of the issue. You know, he was going to go to Newcastle. Because of injuries, you've got to keep him. Not a case of he's going to Newcastle and the owners are going, you know what, you need another defender. There's an Upper Meccano or a Kanate or whoever it might be. It's, you know what, you got some injuries, don't let Rob go to Newcastle, even though you don't think he's good enough, just keep him and manage. So at that point, that's when you've got to start asking questions and going, well, what's actually going on? I'm genuine, I don't know anymore. I'm not even angry at the minute. I took my anger out on my phone and stuff at that moment and whatever. And I'm kind of just sitting in now, I'm in a daze at the minute. Honest to God, I just feel like I don't know which way to turn. I don't know what to say or do. Listen, I'm a big boy and I don't care about being wrong. I've been wrong before and I've been right before. I put my neck on the line by giving my opinion on a weekly basis. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. So at the moment, it's looking like my decision to back him is wrong. And I can't give you anything to suggest otherwise. But does that make me any less of a fan or a bad person or whatever people might want to suggest or think or feel or whatever? No, of course it doesn't. Because I'm hurting hard, man, and I just hate seeing it, and it's just tough at the minute, man.
This video is brought to you by eToro. Now, you may have seen that eToro sponsor a number of Premier League clubs, and you might be wondering, who are they? Well, eToro is a global investment platform with over 16 million registered users, which offers everything from stocks, currencies and commodities to cryptos like Bitcoin. Now, if you don't have time to invest, eToro is perfect. You can use eToro's CopyTrader feature, copy top performing investors, so when they make a trade, you make the same trade automatically at no additional cost. So if you're looking to start investing and you want to find out more about eToro, then click the link in the description and get on it right now.